Significant loss is a profound shock to the predictive nature of the brain. Our brains constantly build and refine models of the world, predicting what will happen based on prior experiences. When loss occurs, whether it's the death of a loved one, a health change, or an environmental shift, it disrupts these predictions, leaving the brain in a state of dissonance and uncertainty. The grieving process can be understood as the brain's effort to recalibrate and update its internal model of the world. The predictive processing, emotional field and traditional stages of grief. Denial. The brain initially resists updating its model to accommodate the loss. Denial serves as a protective buffer, allowing time for the brain to process that its predictions, like expecting a person to still be present, no longer align with reality. In the emotional field, this aligns with low alertness and neutral comfort, reflecting the brain's attempt to avoid the full impact of the dissonance. Anger. The predictive brain experiences frustration as it confronts the mismatch between expectations and reality. Anger arises from the brain's struggle to make sense of the loss, often directed outward or inward in an attempt to regain control. This corresponds to high alertness and discomfort in the emotional field, signaling the intensity of the brain's resistance to the new reality. Bargaining. The brain tries to reconcile the loss by mentally exploring alternative outcomes or hypothetical scenarios. This stage represents an active attempt to negotiate, a way to maintain elements of the previous predictive model. In the emotional field, bargaining fluctuates between moderate alertness and discomfort, as hope and despair intermingle. Depression. When the brain acknowledges the loss as final, it enters a state of low alertness and discomfort. Depression reflects the emotional weight of recalibrating a world model without the lost person, ability, or situation. This stage is deeply tied to the brain's mourning of shattered expectations and the effort required to rebuild. Acceptance. Over time, the brain integrates the loss into its predictive framework, creating a new model of the world that accounts for the change. Acceptance isn't the absence of emotional pain but the brain's ability to reduce prediction errors by adapting. In the emotional field, this stage reflects a shift to low to moderate alertness and more positive sense of comfort as a sense of equilibrium, or balance, is restored. Loss is a process of neural reorganization. The brain's neuroplasticity allows it to adapt to loss by forming new connections, habits, and patterns. For example, loss of a person. The brain rewires routines, relationships, and emotional responses to accommodate their absence. Health changes. The brain adjusts its predictions about physical capabilities, crafting new ways to interact with the environment. Environmental shifts. The brain learns to predict and navigate a changed landscape, often developing new coping mechanisms. Grieving, then, is not just emotional, it's cognitive and physiological. It reflects the brain's fundamental need to make sense of the world, repair broken predictions, and learn to navigate a reality forever altered. Because these changes literally involve growing new pathways in our brains, the process takes time. There is no rushing grief. Grieving is on its own timetable. By understanding grief in this way, we can frame it as a painful yet essential process of growth and adaptation. Good luck on your journey. Be sure to leave comments below and remember, you're not alone. Thanks for joining us today at the Community Project. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share.